Hi, welcome to Josh's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be doing a recipe for making French fries. We're going to be testing a few things as well for a project with school. It's going to be testing how cooking your potatoes in oil versus no oil, like if you just bake them or boil them or any of those other methods you can think of, versus cooking it with oil, doing the same and different methods. Right now I'm in the process of peeling these. Once they're done, I will get them sliced and then put to boil in our water. This is going to help make sure that the potatoes are nice and crispy when we're done frying them. Also, we're going to use vinegar in the water, and I'll show that in a little bit. That's going to help the potato keep its structure. So most of these are going to get boiled first in that vinegar and water solution, but some of them I'm going to actually have without the boiling, because I want to see how that also impacts the texture and flavor of the French fries when they're done cooking. So we have about 2/3 of them over here that are going to go to be boiled, and 1/3 over here that will not be boiled. And now we add our potatoes here to the water. We don't want it to splash too much. There we go. And we'll just stir these occasionally. This is gonna, again, help make sure that they get a very crispy exterior, and the vinegar helps to maintain the structure. These are unboiled potatoes here. Half of these I'm going to fry in some oil, just shallow fried on the stove. Okay, so I think these are looking good, about as good as I dare to get them in this. So I'm gonna go ahead and move them over to our pan where they can drip dry, and then once they're a little dry and a little bit cooler, we'll toss them with some salt and pepper and see how we like them. These ones have cooled down for long enough. I'm going to go ahead and move them over to this bowl. I can already tell you just from feeling them, they feel kind of soft and kind of flimsy, like they aren't, a crispy fry like you might want. Let's give it a taste. It's good, but I definitely think that the inside of the potato is not cooked enough. The outside, it looks nice and brown, especially on the corners, the edges of the potato. You can see it like on this one. Got a nice gold edge there, but it's still really squishy. And the other half, I'm gonna bake without any oil, and that way we'll have one set that hasn't been boiled, cooked in oil, and one set that hasn't been boiled, cooked without oil to compare. And this is going to be our side that gets oil. Drizzle over the top. Oh, that was quite a bit. And now we're going to toss them together. One thing that I'm noticing also is that, as you can probably see, the ones that haven't been boiled and have just been sitting out, they're getting a lot oranger of a color. I'm not sure exactly what that's due to. I think it might have to do with like oxidation or something like that. They haven't been salted, they haven't been put in water, and I know if you leave potatoes or fruit or other vegetables out, they tend to get kind of soggy and brown and mushy, like if you cut into an apple, compared to these ones that have been boiled. They appear much brighter and whiter. These ones appear green, but that's just the oil. They looked about the same before they got the oil. But these are about ready to go into the oven. We'll see you there. So we're gonna leave these cooking for probably like 20 minutes, take them out, flip them over, and leave them another 20 minutes. It's a long process, but it's worth it. We're doing our first check on the ones in the oven, and just take a look. They're looking good, but I think we're gonna leave them in a little bit longer until we flip them over. I think we're ready to flip them over. Looking good, not too much color on these ones. These are the ones in oil, which makes me a little nervous. We might need to leave these in longer than I was expecting. Already you can see that these potatoes are sticking more than the ones in oil. That's not a good thing. I don't think I'll be able to get these to flip over. So we can see why it's good to use oil, especially if you've got tin foil involved. Let's see if these ones are faring any better. A little bit, but not much. Let's see if that works for these ones over here. Nope. Like, kind of, but not really. We're gonna flip these around so the oiled ones are on the opposite side this time, and that will hopefully help make sure we have even cooking. You can see the ones in the middle are starting to get burned on the edges, tips, etc. Meanwhile, the other two are beginning to look a little bit cooked. That's actually really surprising. I did not expect that. I thought the ones in the middle were going to be the ones that took the longest to cook. We're going to leave them in a little bit longer though, because the ones on the edges don't look quite done. We might be taking out the ones in the middle soon though. These guys are all ready to come out. We've got some nice golden brown oiled ones, some not so golden brown, not oiled, not boiled ones, and some boiled, no oil ones that look like they could maybe use some more time. All right, time to add these in to be fried. I think that's all I'm gonna add for now. I don't wanna have too many in at once. I wanna make sure there's enough oil and room for everyone. But also, we didn't have the oil as hot right away this time, but you can already see it starting to bubble and boil there around the edges. That's going to be happening a lot with this batch because it was boiled in water first. So these potatoes are basically soaked in water, and that all has to boil off, and that's going to cause some good reaction around the edges of the potatoes. It's going to break down the edges, help it to develop a crispy crust when all that water's gone. Okay, now we're ready to go ahead and flip these over. They're looking good, getting sizzled. Let's shake them around a little bit. No color developing yet. That is all right. It's good for them to take their time. Time to flip them again. See how things are going on the other side. I can already feel these ones, they feel and even sound a little bit crispier or firmer when you flip them over. So that's a good sign. We want to have nice, crispy, crunchy fries. It's been a few minutes at this point. We just keep checking them and turning them as needed, trying to make sure that all the sides get cooked as evenly as possible. But they're definitely crispier than the last ones. I can tell you that much. Ooh, look at that golden brown on that one. Isn't that nice? Then, I haven't been stirring it too regularly, but it's looking good for sure. I think these are ready to come off the heat, rest for a little bit, and then we'll toss them in salt and pepper. So these are the ones that we cooked in oil on the pan, and you can already see we've got some nice golden brown edges, maybe a little bit overdone in some places, but I think these are going to be much better than the ones that had no boiling done. These are ready to go. Look at that. Versus very good. Much crispier, still a little soft, but that's nice. I've had overdone fries where it's just a crispy shell around the edge, and it's almost like there's nothing here inside the potato. This is good. Listen to this crunch. Very good. All right, last time, I think they got maybe a little bit more than they should have, but they're looking pretty good. They look about the same as the ones that got no boiling and baked. Yeah, here got loud, crispy drop. I think you're dropping a couple pebbles in there. These ones are the ones that got baked with no oil and no boiling. These ones are baked with oil. Let's give these ones a try, as unappealing as they look. Again, these are the ones that were baked with no oil and no boiling. It's very crunchy, too crunchy. It's like trying to eat glass. Here, look at this. It just snaps completely in two, super brittle. And then we have some, like this one, which you can see it has like a cooked, crispy outer shell, and then inside it's soft and undercooked. And then there's like this one where it looks like it's not cooked at all in the middle. Hidden crispy one, undercooked. Very hit and miss. It depends on how thick the potato is, how cooked it is. Definitely not my favorite. Here we have our baked after boiling and putting oil. You can see how it has some kind of like bubbles along the skin. It is nice and crispy, but it's not like glass like these ones. Nice and crunchy, but it's not too crunchy that you're worried you're gonna cut the roof of your mouth on a potato. These ones are really good. Very good. But I think I like these ones the best, fried shallow in the pan. They seem to have the best texture and consistency to me. Let's see how they look. We've got some that have like some soft, squishy sides, and then we have other parts that are very brittle. We have that same crispy, loud crunch, but they do seem a little bit softer on the inside than the ones that were not boiled. Okay, I think I'm ready to rank these. Taking a look at all of these, we have our different methods of cooking them. These ones over here were not boiled. They were just fried shallow in a pan. Then we move on to our ones that were boiled and then fried shallow in a pan. These ones were baked after boiling, no oil. These ones were baked without boiling, no oil. And lastly, baked with oil after boiling. The way that I'm ranking these is based off of primarily taste and texture. The visual appeal is also a factor, but it's not going to be a deciding factor. I'm going to go from least favorite to most favorite on these. And our loser, definitively, of the day was our baked with no oil and no boiling. These ones were crispy in some places. You get that hollow, crunchy shell that's too crispy and has no substance to it. Also, these ones are a mixed bag. You get some that are undercooked like this one and some that are overcooked like this one. We have a piece of tin foil stuck to this one. So, you know, it's definitely a mixed bag of what you get between all of them. Next, we have our boiled and then baked, no oil. These ones are very similar to their not boiled counterparts. You can see we've got some that are overcooked, like this one. It's even like stiff, hard to break in half because it's so stiff. Then we have some that are a little bit softer and less cooked, like this one here. You can bend it and it doesn't even break all the way. That's weird. That's unnatural. They're a little bit better, but only a little bit. Not really any big improvement. Next, we have cooked in oil, shallow fried, no boiling. These ones were all right, and you get a nice golden color, but as you can see, they're like soft, squishy, almost like a sponge. I think they probably could have used a little bit more time in the pan to get them a better taste and texture, but they're all right. They're acceptable French fries, especially if you have them hot. In second place, we have our baked after boiling with oil. You get a beautiful golden texture. It's not overdone in any places. It might be a little bit underdone in some places, but it makes up for it with overall just a great flavor. Awesome. Definitely one to try. And last, our winner. You can see by how empty the bowl is that I really liked these ones. These were the boiled, then shallow fried in oil. They were crispy enough. I ate all the good ones. But you get a nice crispness, but it's not like the other ones. Let's see, this is probably like the ideal example that we have left, where you've got a nice crisp side, not too overdone. You've still got that fluffy, potato-y center of the fry. It's a great, great fry, 8 out of 10. But it was good, super good. One of the best homemade fries I've ever had. So in conclusion, we learned a couple things today with these fries. Number one, you definitely want to use oil with your French fries. All of the ones that weren't using oil had kind of an awful texture. They weren't quite done as well. There were more hot spots that had like overdone bits and underdone bits, whereas the ones that were cooked in oil, they were generally more evenly cooked, had a better, more appealing texture and color. And honestly, I think that this is a great recipe to try. If you want the full recipe, you can look up Adam Ragusia's recipe on oven fries, or Ethan Chlebowski's recipe on oven fries that he derives from Adam Ragusia's recipe. This was my derivative of it with a couple different options, and it's pretty good. Have a great day.